Welcome to yet another episode of Voices from the Frontlines, and today we are joined by the programs manager of GESI, Wadzanai Shitiga. She's going to talk to us about GESI project. Wadzanai, let's get into it. But before that, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we are also on all social media platforms, on X, formerly Twitter. We are also on Facebook, and we have a website. Make sure you visit so that you get to know more about us and our official stories. Wadzanai, welcome to the show. What is GESI? What does it stand for, and what do you do as GESI?
Okay, thank you very much. GESI stands for Education Coalition of Zimbabwe, and we're a membership-driven organization. We subscribe to SDG number 4 for quality education, and we also subscribe to SDG number 5 of gender equality. So when we say GESI, it's gender equality and social inclusion. So on our programming, we've embraced our members who are interested in gender equality and social inclusion to ensure that no one is left behind. So we operate in all the 10 provinces of Zimbabwe through our 75 members.
Okay, what's the main issues that you touch on? I understand that you said that you include every organization, each organization that has to do with children, especially school-going children. What is it that you really focus on exactly, that you say that we pick this school and this school pick this organization and this organization to address certain issues?
Okay, GESI operates with 5 thematic committees. We've got a thematic committee on gender equality and social inclusion. We have a thematic committee on education and emergencies, a thematic committee on education financing, foundational literacy, just to mention a few. So from the 5 thematic committees, today we have got members who are interested in ensuring that the learning environment is safe, looking at disability, looking at the boy child, looking at the girl child. So these members will be implementing in different communities. For example, with FACET, they implement in farming communities. This will then help us as we do policy advocacy with evidence to say this is what is happening in farming communities. We also have members such as Comfort who are ensuring that there is realization of second chance education. So our role as GESI is to harness the evidence and implement the existing policies so that as the government is looking at the review of different policies, we have evidence to provide on the table. Then in terms of the constitution, it ensures that no one is left behind. So in our work in identifying schools, we use the MS report from the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education, which shows areas where there is high turnover of school dropouts. For recent in the years, we have learned that there is now an increase of dropouts of the boy child. So we are working with organizations to ensure that there is continuation of education, the basic education in Zimbabwe. And in addition to that, learning from emergencies such as Cyclone Idai, we then come together to say we need experts in different areas so that they come in with psychological support for the learners that were affected by COVID-19. So this GESI model is the piloting phase, whereby we are looking at saying let's champion together as citizens of Zimbabwe that the National Disability Policy is implemented. How do we ensure that it cascades in the education system? We are looking at the infrastructure, we are looking at the capacitation of the teachers. We are also looking at information to say how will pregnant girls feel if they are reintegrated in the education system, and how will we want our Zimbabwe to look like, leaving no one behind.
Okay, thank you for that, Wadzana. I need to understand, probably the people, the viewers need to understand. You mentioned about school dropouts, a number of increase in school dropouts, and also I want to understand. Last year there was drought. And you also mentioned the issue of Cyclone Idai, other natural disasters which happened long back. How then do you incorporate your work with issues that are affecting school-going children like droughts in Zimbabwe?
Okay, since we work closely with the Ministry of Primary and Secondary as one of the government stakeholders, they have the school feeding program and they have the school health policy. So we ensure that we help them to monitor to say there is a policy which says that there should be school feeding in the government schools. What are the challenges? Then we lobby through the members of parliament to say this was signed off and the government should chip in to support school feeding in the education sector, realizing the effects of drought. And as partners as GESI, we coordinate organizations who have the capacity to come in and support with hot meals in schools such as JF Cabinet Trust. So as we select the schools to support with the school feeding, We also use the Zimbabwe report as the evidence to say these are the most affected areas. And we have now gone further to work with communities through community engagement to say how do we ensure that education continues even in the event of drought, whereby some communities are coming in with locally available resources to schools to ensure that there is a support for the learners to be able to survive.
That was Wadzanai Chitiga joining us on our show, Voices from the Front Lines. Now let's get to hear from other organizations who are members of ECOSI and also get to understand how they work and what they are doing.
Can you introduce yourself and tell us what your organization, that is FACET, what it is doing in Farming Community Trust in assisting the girl child in terms of education, and how you are implementing GESI?
Right. My name is Michael Simarashi Namazi. I am coming from FACET, which is Farming Communities Education Trust. So we are mainly focusing on girls, sending them back to school and making sure that their voices also are heard when it comes to health and education. So in farming communities, what we are doing is that we are representing young girls, but not saying now we also from young boys, we are also helping young boys in those spaces. So it's very important. Where we're coming from is basically that we are trying to bridge that gap between what young boys and young girls when it comes to the issues around inclusivity. So we are making sure that young girls are not left behind, right? Because from communities question, but we realize with the stereotypes, they are only men, so are the only ones who are supposed to be going to school. So what we then do is we try to advocate for their voices, making sure that they are heard, making sure that they get that same opportunity that a boy child is getting done once in the photo, and at once to become as much as that young boy is what is so we realize that in farming communities there are those stereotypes you can go to school. Why? Because mama and then she's then deprived of a right to education. So we try to advocate for that by sensitizing the community, telling the community, teaching the community about inclusivity and equality when it comes to education. So we are focusing on that as facet.
Okay, tinofara zvikuru nemabasa amuri kuita. Tinoziva kuti farming communities mune nyaya dzekumiswa kwevana kwakanyanya. Zvizvo zvamuri kuita kuti vana vazodzokera kuchikoro. Taziva nezvematambudziko.
Alright. So isusu sefacet zvatiri kuti vana vadzokera kuchikoro, isusu tinovabatsirawo nepatinokwanisa napo by trying to pay them for their fees, at the same time try by all means kuti vapindewo pama there is BIM which is helping vana kudzokera kuchikoro. Kuti mwana akwanise kudzokera kuchikoro, saka tokwanisa kumuregister on BIM. And aregister BIM means that akwanisawo kucontinue nechikoro is continue ari kungoitawo vamwe vana kuenda kuchikoro.
Nevakomana vana baba vedu vaiti munoita pamuviri usati vaona nevakomana vachibhati vakomana vangwa nechallenge yechi nemedzi tapedza tafoira medzi tikatozidropa. Why? Because chaingofunga kuti vasikana even maheti tatofunga fesi because unengosati kuti mukomana atokuona because hataiudzwa kuti sei tisingafaniri kumisa nevakomana ainzwa mutaura naye mutaranhombe. Saka toda kuti titsanangure kukosha kwokudzidza kwokupiwa mukana ikapiwa kuvanasikana nevanakomana zvakaenzana. Handiti kuti anomipisa musikana mwana mukomana ari mwana mukomana kana akasaipiwa education yekuti mwana musikana anomitiswa sei anoda kuita zvinhu zvinoshamisa akunoita society kuti tatorinzi tamitisa munhu asi kuziva the process. Saka gender inclusion vana vakadzidziswa vese vari pamwe chete vanokwanisa kuziva mado's and don'ts.
I think gender inclusion yakakoshera pakuti like what you were saying Munja, kuti vana vakomana nevana vasikana vakadzidza pamwe chete in that context zvinobatsirawo paissue dzesocialization chaidzodzo dzekuti vana vasikana havachavhundukire vakomana zvezvo zvekuti vakutodzidza vari vese vachitoziva their biological differences dziripo handiti vachiziva mabiological differences izvo zvinobatsira pakuti vasikana havazovhundukire zvaizvo kuti akaona mukomana kutovhundukira. Like I can give you an example. Indakadzidza pamixed school, there was a girl's side that was close by, so you'd find that during my sporting activities when the ladies come, when the girls come, vasikana vekugirls aivauya pavaineka kutovhundukira kake mukomana wacho yotogona kutofunga kuti hana kana basa uyo hana kana chi weiona kaita kuunganirwa nevasikana hopo handiti. Saka I think that aspect yekuti mwana haazovhundukire ende vana anokwanisa kukozi kune vamwe vana vakatoberekerwa mafamilies ekuti it's all girls panachi hamuna mukomana mufamily mumu, so that's how they also learn how to interact, that's how they also learn kuziva kuti mastrength edu madifferences edu akamira papi. We find that even where we are also implementing our projects in rural areas, one of the things that inequalities are issues exclusions. Water scarcity it's an issue. You find that mwana musikana kunyanya anononoka kuenda kuchikoro oropa mukacha hatoenda achinzi anotsvaka mvura ende dzimwe nguva kana itori dry season mvura inotonetsa zvekutodaro. Saka vanenge vachinotoona kuti mwana anogona kutorofa kuenda kuchikoro nekushaya mvura iyoyo. Ndinotouya paissue.
Okay, my name is Aunida Jim from Young Men's Christian Association, YMCA. So in terms of gender equality and social inclusion, YMCA looks at incorporating gender equality in terms of our programming. We also look at gender in terms of our board executive, in terms of our staff. We have equality, and we try by all means to balance our beneficiaries. YMCA YMCA empowers young people, and young people include both women and men, and also people living with disabilities. So we also give preferences to women and also young people who are living with disabilities. And also our centers, they are friendly to people living with disabilities. They're very accessible to everyone, and we're incorporating aids that help people who are living with disabilities.
So holding individual my schools, mwanasikana akashibisa hembe yake yaruma menses, why are the boys laughing? Why do they laugh? Yeti vari kuziva here this is science and something pane there's a gap riri kuchikoro rapananga raitwa kuti izvi sando zvisina kuoneka izvi. So you can start by introducing yourself and tell us how you are incorporating GESI in your organization as Shamari Mwanasikana, and how we are also incorporating the boy child so that the girl child is protected.
Okay, my name is Regis Matenga. I'm the programs coordinator for Shamari Mwanasikana. In terms of gender and social inclusion as Shamari Mwanasikana, we do have programs that we operate in our areas of operations. We've got what we call the Dandaros. The Dandaros is sort of girls' rights groups where the girls they meet, they discuss with peer educators about girls' issues and social problems. Also, we do have another one that is called a Men and Boys Forum, where boys and men, they come together just like what the girls do. They come together, they discuss with the peer educators, they discuss amongst themselves. It's what we call in Shamari Mwanasikana, we call that he for she. Girls as sisters, girls as mothers, and girls as aunts. We do discuss their problems, we do share their problems when we are meeting as boys, as men. Then in terms of the general policies of the organization, in HR we do have a human resource policy where there is inclusive gender gender or the mainstreaming. Yes, also we do have gender policy where it's balanced 50-50. Sometimes it's gender equity, gender equality. We do have all. So in Summary Monaskana, we are doing everything that we can to help gender and social inclusion.
Okay. Also, can you tell us how climate change is affecting the girl child in terms of education?
Yeah, in terms of education, climate change plays a very pivotal role. We are seeing at Summary Monaskana, we did a program that is called Bowl Diaries. You see, now that the climate is changing, we mostly, if we don't have water, we know the situation in Harare, the situation in Chitunguisa, where water comes 2 or 3 days a week. The very first thing is the girls or women, they do go and fetch the water, and when they do that, sometimes maybe 3-4 hours they are able in the queue, and they are losing time to go to school, because by the time that a girl comes from the bowl that is past 8 going to school, that will be a challenge. She'll be at school around 9-10, so it's a challenge on the girl side. So we tried, we did advocacy, we did we disseminated information so that the unpaid care work should go to each and every one, irrespective of girls or boys. Everyone should participate in unpaid care work.
Okay, thank you.